Hey everyone, has anyone ever shown you a trick for making a homemade soldering iron starting from a common cylindrical battery? Out of this basket full of batteries like these, I'm going to pick one and start building it. But this giant battery actually looks pretty interesting. Alright then, let's get started and make it together. For the first step, I'm going to remove the original metal casing from the battery. In most simple homemade soldering iron projects, I usually reuse the carbon rod inside the battery as the soldering tip, because carbon has relatively good heat resistance, does not melt easily at normal soldering temperatures, and can conduct enough heat to work for basic soldering tasks. On top of that, this material is easy to find in common cylindrical batteries, so it's a pretty practical choice for DIY projects like this. Next, I also prepared a threaded rod and a nut, using them to secure the battery body as the handle of the soldering iron while also connecting it to the homemade soldering tip to create one solid structure. This is liquid glue. I'm going to use it to help secure the parts together because once the glue dries, it can keep the connections more stable, reduce looseness while using the soldering iron, and make the whole structure feel much more solid. To make the bond stronger and more durable, I'm going to add a little baking soda along with the liquid glue, because when these two materials combine, the glue hardens much faster, fills small gaps more effectively, and creates a more solid structure for holding the parts together. Here I have a simple electrical connector. I'm going to take the metal conductor and the 2 tightening screws out of the insulated plastic housing, then reuse them as a connecting piece to link the threaded rod with the homemade soldering tip. The type of wire I use in these projects has an insulating layer on the outside, while the core inside is made from multiple copper strands tightly braided together. This design helps the wire stay flexible, carry electrical current more efficiently, and makes it easier to connect power from the battery to the homemade soldering tip. With this end of the wire, I'm going to connect it directly to the tightening screw, while the other end will be prepared later to connect to the power source. To keep the wire from getting in the way and to help protect the electrical connection from breaking, I'm going to use electrical tape to secure the wire along the handle. For the remaining end of the wire, I'm going to attach an alligator clip as well, because this type of clip can grip the battery terminals quickly and securely, making it much more convenient when connecting or removing the power source during use. But I'm not stopping there. I also made another tool using a piece of electrical wire and 2 alligator clips. One end will be connected to the negative terminal of the power source, while the other end will be attached to the metal piece that needs to be soldered. This is a small battery pack, and I'm going to use it as the power source because it can provide a suitable amount of energy for this project without damaging the components. Alright, everything is set up now. I've prepared a few simple test demonstrations, so let's watch closely and see how effectively this setup works in different situations. There's one final little tip I want to share with everyone about repairing an LED bulb when one of the LED chips inside burns out. By using this soldering setup, you can check each chip one by one and repair it directly, so if you have any damaged LED bulbs lying around, bring them out and let's fix them together at the same time. The repair method here is actually pretty simple. When one LED chip burns out, the electrical circuit inside the bulb gets interrupted, causing the whole bulb to stop working. So instead of replacing the damaged chip, I'm going to use solder to bridge and fill the connection points where the broken LED chip used to be, helping the electrical current flow through the circuit again so the bulb can light back up. And that's the entire homemade soldering setup finished from start to end. From an ordinary battery that most people would probably throw away, we managed to turn it into a simple tool that can still solder wires, repair small electronic parts, and even bring damaged LED bulbs back to life again. Sometimes DIY projects are interesting in that way, not because the tools are expensive, but because a few simple ideas can give old things a second chance to be useful again. If you enjoyed this experiment, don't forget to keep following along, because there are still plenty of strange and practical projects waiting ahead.